Dirty dealings, corporate battles, consumer woes. This is Evening 5. Khazanah National more than tripled its profits from operations in 2023, mainly due to higher dividends. Khazanah said earnings from operations totaled 5.9 billion ringgit in 2023, up from 1.6 billion ringgit in the previous year. Dividend income stood at about 2.5 billion ringgit, thanks largely to payments from key holdings such as Tenaga Nasional, IHH Healthcare and CIMB Group Holdings. Khazanah's net asset value grew 4.9% to 85 billion ringgit in 2023. The fund declared a dividend of 1 billion ringgit to Putrajaya, double the figure of 500 million ringgit in 2022. For 2024, Managing Director Dato' Amirul Faisal Wan Zahir said Khazanah plans to focus on assets at home. This as the global macroeconomic and market environment remains challenging and volatile amid ongoing geopolitical conflicts in the Middle East, the continuation of the Russia-Ukraine war and US-China competition. He also flagged a significant global election cycle involving 76 countries representing over 60% of the world's gross domestic product, which will introduce further volatility. Amirul Faisal said Khazanah will reshape its Malaysian portfolio through a so-called mission-based approach to drive long-term returns and sustainable value. The key areas of its domestic portfolio strategy are connectivity, energy transition, digitalization, and catalytic or new growth areas. MyEG Services has acquired a 14.4% stake in HeiTech Padu for 31.25 million ringgit to explore potential collaborations. In a bourse filing on Monday, the e-services provider said its unit, MyEG Capital, acquired the stake of 14.57 million shares through the open market and direct business transactions. It said the exercise is a strategic investment which allows the two established e-government service providers to take a look at how they can work together to create synergies by leveraging their respective expertise and experience. Last week, The Edge Malaysia reported that HeiTech Padu is understood to be among the 3 companies to have been shortlisted for the National Integrated Immigration System or NIISE, which is set to integrate the border management systems under the various agencies of the Ministry of Home Affairs. HeiTech Padu provides maintenance systems to the incumbent Malaysian immigration system. At the close, shares in MyEG gained 0.7% to 78 sen, giving the company a market value of 5.86 billion ringgit. HeiTech Padu, meanwhile, rose 22% to 2.99 ringgit a piece, giving it a market capitalization of 302.66 million ringgit. A liquidator for SRC BVI, a subsidiary of SRC International, told the High Court today that some of the funds meant for the company's investments went into former Prime Minister Dato' Sri Najib Razak's personal accounts, as well as his stepson's film production company. Angela Barkhouse of Britain is the second witness in the SRC civil suit trial to recover from Najib the $1.18 billion that formed the bulk of the KWAP loans of 4 billion ringgit. Barkhouse testified that $120 million went into Najib's personal accounts and $18 million went to Red Granite Capital's accounts, which are owned by Riza Aziz through shell companies controlled by fugitive businessman Low Teck Jo or Joe Low. She told the court that the money had reached Najib and Riza through a series of layering. Overall, she said, the bulk of the KWAP loans was not used for the intended purpose of investing in the energy and resource sectors, but instead diverted to third parties following receipts upon instructions. Najib was SRC's advisor emeritus from May 2012 to March 2019. Logistics service providers are now further exempted from service tax for related services to reduce instances of double taxation or cascading effects from the tax-on-tax imposition on several layers of the logistics supply chain. Minister of Finance 2 Dato' Sri Amir Hamzah Azizan said this is an additional scope of exemption to logistics services business-to-business deals, which previously only covered the same logistics services components. With this, a freight service provider, for example, will not just be spared the service tax for procuring freight services from another company, but also other logistics services under similar items such as warehousing, shipping and cold chain services. MOF said it will continue to undertake engagement sessions with industry players, especially in the logistics sector, to finalize the amendment to the guidelines to facilitate its enforcement. The 6% service tax on logistics was introduced on March 1st. Other exemptions on the newly imposed tax include logistics services for transshipment, goods in transit, door-to-door, e-commerce food deliveries and direct export goods. The tax will be imposed on newly registered logistics service providers from April onwards. Microlink Solutions saw its shares plunge to their lowest in more than 2 years, while the stock exchange suspended intraday short-selling activities on the counter this afternoon. The suspension was triggered after the counter dropped more than 15% or 15 cents from its reference price. It then hit its limit down of 53 cents a piece, which is also its lowest since November 2021. Bursa Malaysia said Microlink's intraday short selling will only be activated tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. The stock faced heavy selling pressure while volume spiked as the market resumed trading earlier this afternoon. Its shares closed 36% lower at 53 cents today, giving it a market capitalization of 568.37 million ringgit. The stock was the fourth largest loser in Bursa Malaysia, with 13.38 million shares changing hands versus the 5.68 million shares of 5-day volume moving average, 6.3 million shares for the 20-day moving average, and 6.55 million shares for the 90-day moving average. Upon market close, Bursa Malaysia also issued an unusual market activity query to the group, seeking any possible explanation to the sudden volatility. As at time of reporting, Microlink has yet to respond.